Hey, good evening. Today's Bible study will be coming from Matthew chapter 5, verses 38 through 42. And bear with me because there's a lot in these little verses. So I'll be jumping around. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Now, this is a hard verse because I have to do something that we don't want to do and turn the other cheek. And it's not just like he slapped me, so turn this cheek. It's really talking about revenge or the act of revenge. Because if you look at Proverbs 20:22, you'll know that do not say, I'll pay back for this wrong. Wait for the Lord, and he will avenge you. So let the Lord do that. But what we're really getting at here is the ye have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. This this is serious because you go back to Exodus where it says an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a hand for a hand, and a foot for a foot. That's 21:24. And then you go to Leviticus, book of laws, a fracture for a fracture, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Just as he has injured a man, so it shall be inflicted on him. 24:20. And then Deuteronomy 19:21 says, thus you shall not show pity, life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, and foot for foot. And these are harsh things. This is physical damage, and it's a demanding thing. But we have to remember that we had advanced beyond that primitive thinking when we were gaining our faith, when we were walking with Christ all this time. The law of the jungle, it was far different. If you kill my child, I'll kill your child, things like that, and all that. But the truth of the matter is, we were learning to let God handle our situations. And in that instance, we have to back off. We cannot we cannot do this to another person. And these were laws of retribution back in the day, and they were designed to take vengeance. That's what it was. It was just trying to get back at somebody for getting at you. But we aren't made to do that. We weren't made to do these things to other people. These were civil enactments, things that just happened to us. But truth be told, the injunctions of the Old Testament itself we're not doing when Jesus comes in and says this, because in Proverbs it tells you who will handle those situations for you. So in verse 38, don't take revenge. Instead, show some love. Woo, that bad word. There's that bad word, love. Show some compassion. Ooh, another bad word. Show some kindness. Ooh, another bad word. Endure through these times. Have some perseverance and watch your faith get stronger. So in verse 39 it says, but I say unto you, resist not him that is evil, but whosoever smiteth thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. This is submissive too. I'm submitting myself to somebody else to do wrong to me. Wow. Who has a nerve to do wrong to me? I'm me. But then I'm gonna submit myself to it? What would have happened if Christ said, I'm Christ? And I'm gonna submit myself to y'all to crucify me? You ain't just getting my cheek, you getting my whole body. And these verses seem very difficult to us in our mind. But put yourself where Christ was. And see, we probably had to learn how to try it. We had to learn how to do this. We had to work at this. Jesus just did it. There was nothing to him. Father, I will go down there. I will be the sacrifice. Wow. Wow. But you know, this makes you think about your life and the problems that you can imagine in it. You see, when you turn the other cheek, quote unquote, that usually takes the sport out of somebody continuing to be abusive or to do evil things to you. And man, they think you're defenseless because you didn't do it, but what you're really doing is working with unseen defenses because you're letting the Lord do what he does. Don't worry about man. Let the Lord do what he does. Hey, if you can even handle a little bit of what Jesus suffered through, and he turned a whole bunch of cheeks, believe me, did you see how powerful he was? Did you see how many miracles he did? Did you see how many people he healed? See that hidden thing, that faith that was there moving around him? It could be around us. But we got to submit ourselves. And that's hard. That is hard. Verse 40 says, and if any man would go to the law with thee and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. This is exactly the same thing we were just talking about, but it's put in another type of setting. And then I think they said it again for an emphasis on, hey, don't seek revenge. Don't try to do bad to bad. Bad does not do anything with bad except make it grow. Good, though, takes bad away. So let him have your cloak, also the outer and more costly garment. You don't need it. The Lord will provide for you. But don't return evil with evil. And it didn't say that Christ didn't say that you got to give up everything. He didn't say that. I don't want you to think that. But it is a basic truth that Christ was teaching. And he wants us to invest in the person. You know, the people that don't have it. Sometimes if somebody comes up to you and they need something or they want what you have, sometimes it's just because they don't have it. And you probably got it or extra. And you never know who that person could be that's asking you to bless them. So if you have it, bless them. And the Lord will take care of that blessing that you just gave because you will be blessed. So when we go to verse 42 and 43, give to the one who asks. I'm sorry, we go to verse 42. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Woo, man, good grief. That borrowing one's hard for me because I was taught if you borrow, that means you plan to pay me back. If I give it to you, that means it's yours. You ain't got to worry about giving it back. But once again, this is us investing in people and the material things that we have, and we claim our material things. Don't get me wrong. We want our material things, but they shouldn't be more important than the person that's asking for it. Now, don't get me wrong. The person that's asking you, they shouldn't be asking for things that are unreasonable. Okay? There are some things that are acceptable, but don't ask for something unreasonable. I couldn't say, here's my car and I'll walk for the rest of whatever. But there's some things that we can give them. A couple dollars ain't never hurt anybody who got a whole bunch of dollars. Buying a cup of coffee for somebody who is down on their luck. Going to get a meal for somebody down on their luck. Spending some quality time with somebody. One of the most important things you can do. And in Luke 6:30 it says, give to everyone who asks you. And if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. That's how we're supposed to be. Hard verse for us. I can't tell you it's not as hard. But the truth of the matter is, we should be working more to be like Christ. The Sermon on the Mount is still the top one of all sermons in the Christian religion. But Christ wants us to invest in our people. When he says you'll be blessed because you'll be blessed, it goes right into these verses. Invest in his people, invest in his children. If there is a rich Christian and he doesn't do for a poor Christian, and I'm talking about a Christian who's down and out on their luck, and then if he doesn't do for a poor person, and I mean down and out on their luck, it doesn't have to necessarily be poor financially, but has less, and they have more. That is our job. Honor God's commandment. First the Lord, then the brothers and sisters. And those are our brothers and sisters. And as disciples of Christ the Messiah, we must be inclined to do for our people. The churches used to be a place where we could go and the church would help out. The church would come to you and help out. And now we see so much of the church pilfering and pillaging through as many people as they possibly can. People who are not studying the word, people who are looking for a blessing from man that they can't give. The church should be willingly helping one another out. If you see somebody on TV and the only time they say they can heal somebody is on TV in their church, they could never be healing, because real healing would be in these places that really need the healing. You never saw Jesus just run up into the synagogues and say, this is the only place I can heal. He went to where it was needed because he invested in the people. When he fed the 5,000, he was investing in the people. When he got on the cross, the biggest investment in his children and the ones that he loved was the sacrifice that he did by hanging on that tree. So don't think that you can't do some of the things that he has done, if not all of them. And revenge is not ours. We are to love one another. Be ye kind one unto another. It doesn't say get even with one another. It says be ye kind one unto another. And even if you are in the Old Testament and you read the Old Testament, get in the New Testament where you're under the new covenant, and it tells you all of these things. I know the Old Testament has some of those things, but that's why Jesus came. And he changed it. And he told you what it was. And the eye for an eye, it says it right there in 38 and 39. You have heard that it was said, meaning long ago, back then, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. You didn't hear it say knock them out if it was some physical. You didn't hear it say get revenge. You didn't hear it say anything but turn the other cheek. Remember, let the Lord fight some of these battles and watch how well you can fight. Amen.